Nigel Farage.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm sure the Prime Minister and the whole House would wish to congratulate Donald Trump on his landslide victory last week.
Is that... Hold on. I will hear the question. Nigel.
Thank you. But within a couple of days, we'd learned of a third assassination attempt. Charges have been laid, and behind...
The Prime Minister made a jibe at the Reform UK leader despite facing criticism himself he's spending too much time abroad. Nigel Farage had a furious showdown with Keir Starmer at Prime Minister's questions this lunchtime, as the pair traded barbs over Donald Trump and national security. Asking his second PMQs question since the general election, the Reform UK leader invited MPs to welcome Donald Trump's landslide election victory last week, something they failed to do, he continued. Within a couple of days we learned of a third assassination attempt, charges have been laid, and behind it are Iran's Revolutionary Guards, IRGC. Has the time not come, Prime Minister?
It are Iran's Revolutionary Guards. Has the time not come, Prime Minister, to prescribe what is so obviously a terrorist organisation, and in doing so, not just do the right thing, but maybe mend some fences between this government and the incoming presidency of Donald Trump's, given that the whole of his cabinet have been so rude about him over the last few years?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to see the honourable member making a rare appearance back here in Britain. He spent so much time in America recently. I was half expecting to see him on the immigration statistics when we see the next back.
To prescribe what is so obviously a terrorist organization? And in doing so, not just do the right thing, but maybe mend some fences between this government and the incoming presidency of Donald Trump's. Given that the whole cabinet has been so rude about him over the last few years, instead of doing so, Sir Keir replied with a joke attacking Mr. Farage for his recent visits to the United States. The PM said, "I'm glad to see Mr. Farage making a rare appearance back here in Britain. He spends so much time in America recently. I was half expecting to see him on the immigration statistics." While Mr. Farage appeared to laugh along at the jibe, he was later seen rolling his eyes after Sir Keir said of the prescription demand he will keep them under review. In January 2023, Labour called on the then Tory government to prescribe the IRGC as a terrorist organisation. However, since coming to power have appeared sluggish in following through on this demand themselves. At The Time, David Lammy and Yvette Cooper said, "The Iranian regime's actions against courageous protesters seeking a better future, as well as British nationals imprisoned in Iran, and its threats to UK security mean robust action is needed now. The IRGC is behaving like a terrorist organisation and must now be prescribed as such." Labour supports prescribing the IRGC either through the existing process or through amending the National Security Bill to create a new process of prescription for hostile state actors. Labour will always take the actions necessary to keep the British public safe. However, since coming to power, it's now been reported that Yvette Cooper is leaning away from prescribing the group, despite both the US and Canada doing so. Politico reported government insiders who said Labour ministers fear that doing so would lead to a mutual expulsion of British diplomats from Tehran and derail diplomatic relations with the rogue Middle Eastern actor.